Hello and welcome to my new show, The Bloke Speaks, right here on Post Canadian. I'm an old Englishman with an attitude and a voice that sometimes sounds like I'm about to shit myself, because most times I probably am. I'm cranky and frankly too old to give a fuck. In all seriousness, I'd like to thank Post Canadian for hosting me and giving me a voice. We'll publish new shows periodically whenever I have something to complain about or whenever I feel like it. Let's start this first show by talking about something that's really chapped my arse all week. I can't seem to get over it, to be honest. Perhaps you might know about that liberal prick Warren Kinsella. He hates Trudeau, but he spent most of his life as a liberal strategist, so he's about as trustworthy as a shih tzu on methamphetamine. Anyhow, this prick recently tweeted about the word cuck. He tweeted something about how it's a word used by right-wing fascists to attack Jews or something. Just to clarify, I love the word cuck, and I use it all the time. I can assure you it has nothing to do with Jews. If you think it does, it's because you're probably a fucking cuck yourself. Let me read you what the actual modern definition of the word is. A weak or servile man, often used as a contemptuous term for a man with moderate or progressive political views. The second definition is a man whose wife is sexually unfaithful, a cuckold. Nowhere anywhere does it say anything about white supremacists and Jews. Even Google and every basic dictionary knows that. If you're going to quote what the Anti-Defamation League is saying, which is what Kinsella did, you're probably not someone we should be taking seriously anyway. I mean, didn't they recently say that the OK symbol is a white power symbol? Fucking morons. Moral of the story. Warren Kinsella is a fucking cuck. I'm in Ontario, by the way, in case any of you were wondering. If this show goes well and reaches, say, 1,000 listeners or views on whatever platform, we'll do more shows. You can consider this a pilot episode. If you like listening to me rant and rave like a miserable bloke, make sure to share this with your friends, assuming you have any, maybe your wife or husband. Anyway, I'm not a white supremacist or a member of the far right. Do you know how I know that? Because I don't work out. I'm not jacked. In fact, I'm fat and lazy. My belly literally hangs over my pecker, and I don't think I've seen my pecker in years. I'll have to ask my wife what it looks like. But what I'm getting at is that article that MSNBC retweeted a year after they published it about how being fit and having big muscles is a far-right thing now. The title of the article is, the title is Pandemic Fitness Trends Have Gone Extreme, literally. And the subline is, White supremacists' latest scheme to valorize violence and hypermasculinity has gone digital. Seriously, folks, you can't even make this rubbish up. If you work out, you're basically a white supremacist now. Unfucking real. The media is now literally labeling masculine men as homophobes and white supremacists. If all these conspiracy crackpots were onto something, this might be it. We are literally shaming men for being men. The question is why? Why would our society be doing that unless there was indeed some sort of nefarious agenda at work? It only makes sense at this point from the perspective of conspiracy theorists. It's pure, utter madness. Anyway, before we get on to more recent things, I know these are older topics by a month now. I just wanted to mention that latest green T-shirt scandal that the Alberta Premier and Pierre Poilievre got caught up in last month. I probably don't have to fill you in on what happened, but holy fuck, politicians need to start reading T-shirts. I have nothing against the message on the shirt, but come on, guys. If you think something is going to cause unneeded negative media, why do it? Start reading the fucking T-shirts before you take photos with these buffoons. Seriously, if you're a conservative politician, just be smarter. How fucking hard can it be, really? For fuck's sake. No wonder conservatives keep losing in this fucking country. Quit letting yourself be set up. You know this country hates conservatives. You know the media will do anything to smear you. So read the fucking shirts from now on, okay? Before you agree to take a photo. Anyway, I digress. How about that idiot Trudeau saying that the current national housing crisis isn't his problem? This is what he said.
And I'll be blunt as well. Housing isn't a primary federal responsibility.
Can you believe that? Housing is not a primary federal responsibility, he says. It sure as fuck is if you're bringing in 500,000 new immigrants every year. You fucking twat. I'm an immigrant myself, but I've been here for more than 20 years. I'm not against immigration, but we need to slow it down. Any reasonable person would know that. We're not asking for this idiot to boil the ocean. All he needs to do is tighten the taps a little wee bit, for fuck's sake. The very fact that he won't, and that he approaches the subject like an arrogant rich kid, is astounding to me. Canadians are struggling, yet this twat says it's not his responsibility to help them. As a Prime Minister, then, what is your responsibility? I tell you folks, the next election can't come soon enough. We've got refugees sleeping on streets in Toronto, but it's not a federal responsibility. Unbelievable. We've sure got billions for Ukraine, though, don't we? Jesus Christ, the taps never seem to turn off when it comes to giving Zelensky more money to lose the war even harder. He doesn't have money for veterans either, but Zelensky, no problem. I think we've sent a good $7 billion to that moron already. To do what? We're living in a clown world, my friends. I don't quite understand this weird obsession everyone has with Zelensky. Anyhow, we all know Russia is winning. Unless NATO gets involved, that won't change. And believe you me, we don't want a hot war with Russia. I don't, you don't, and no reasonable, sane person does. Yet they keep pushing for it, don't they? How about what's happening to Trump? He's being indicted over a fake insurrection that was mostly perpetrated by Democrats and the FBI. At this point, that's pretty much been proven, yet they are indicting a former president over their own hoax. All this talk among Democrats about evil Russia and about Putin being a dictator sure falls flat, doesn't it? In Canada, Trudeau froze bank accounts because a bunch of sissies were scared of truck horns in Ottawa. But Vladimir Putin is the one we should all be afraid of. I almost feel like this bizarre alien stuff going on now, about alien bodies and crafts being recovered, is some sort of distraction. Since when has the government ever been so eager and nonchalant about revelations like this? The whole thing seems odd to me. I don't know about you, but any time the government and mainstream media start going along with something, it's not usually good. It's not usually something we should all be going along with. How does that quote go? If you find yourself agreeing with the masses, you should rethink your opinion, or something along those lines. Perhaps, my friends, we need to reevaluate our opinions on this whole alien thing. Perhaps we really need to reevaluate our views and opinions on a lot of things. Anyhow, my friends, that about does it for me. I hope you enjoyed listening to me rant and rave. If you liked it, I might be back. That, of course, will all depend on how many people listen in and tune in. If the numbers look good, myself and Post Canadian will want to do more shows. Perhaps they'll be longer, and we'll do some interviews, but for now, farewell. I'm the Bloke, and this has been my show, The Bloke Speaks.